I know what you're thinking. Islam Makhachev is better than Khabib Nurmogomedov? I know you're thinking that because most likely you're not very smart. But don't worry, I'll hold your hand through this whole conundrum. Let's just start off with the bare basics, something I've mentioned probably a million times before. If you believe that Khabib is the best fighter who's ever lived, that he would out-wrestle any living person on this planet, how he is literally God in every sense of the word, that's valid. You're allowed to think that. It might be true, but you're not actually basing that on anything. You're just kind of basing that on what everyone at AKA says, and you know AKA loves giving each other dry hand jobs over the pants. Or you're convinced that Dustin Poirier is some high-level jiu-jitsu guy, which was a narrative going around for a while, and I do not know where that came from.
I think that
Dustin Poirier is a black belt. But he is. He is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, bro.
Please, brother.
What do you mean, please?
So what he did when he catch his arm, he go to the what is this, brother?
Granby roll.
Black belt? Who give him, brother? We have to check that moment.
The narrative I've actually heard from AKA is that Khabib and Islam would go at it in training, but I don't know. But let's really break this down. Let's just compare the two fighters, let's compare their resumes, and let's see where we end up at the end. Who have they fought? Khabib joins the UFC, believes he wins his debut, he loses to Gleison Tibau, then he goes on a run. He beats RDA, Michael Johnson, Edson Barbosa. Michael Johnson is a decent wrestler. He's good. He's a 145er, but he's good. RDA, good grappler. Got submitted by Cowboy Cerrone twice in grappling matches, but, you know, decent. He fights Ally Aquinta for the title. Ally Aquinta is a very good wrestler. Gave Khabib a lot of problems. Khabib coasted to the decision, but he gave him a lot of problems. I think from the third round onward, he really struggled taking him down. Then Conor McGregor, very good fighter. Stylistically, very good matchup for Khabib, though. He wins in the fourth round. Then Dustin Poirier, another amazing fighter. Also a very good stylistical matchup, though, for him. He's a boxer at his base. Then Justin Gaethje was a college wrestler, but doesn't wrestle in MMA. He only strikes. Another very good matchup. And that's it. That is it. Now for Islam. One, he knocked out Gleison Tibau, who Khabib lost to, already off the bat. Then, Arman Tsarukyan, insanely high-level wrestler. He was an amateur world champion in pankration. It was a close fight, a lot of good wrestling scrambles. Islam showed just to be a little better than he was. Insanely impressive. Next, Islam beat Davi Ramos, former ADCC world champion. Also insanely impressive. Davi Ramos, I mean, as far as jiu-jitsu goes, pretty much has the best accolades you can have. ADCC is the most prestigious tournament there is as far as grappling. Then after this, he literally sprints through Drew Dober. He beat Thiago Moises. Sprints through Dan Hooker. Sprints through Bobby Green. Then Charles Oliveira. Very high-level grappler. Good wrestling. Very good off his back. They had a close first round. And then in the second round, drops him. Jumps on an arm triangle. Locks it up. Taps out Charles Oliveira. Made every single MMA fan in the world lose their mind. Then has an absolute 5-round war with the number 1 ranked pound-for-pound fighter in the world at the time, Alexander Volkanovski. He edges out a decision, a controversial one, but a win is a win. So those are their resumes.
So do I need to connect the dots, or you got it?
I mean, seriously, guys, do you really need me to sit here and explain detail for detail the difference here? I mean, it is so glaring. I mean, it's almost not Khabib's fault that a lot of these guys weren't at the top of the division yet. I mean, he fought the top-ranked guys at the time. But it's just not to the same level as Islam. Islam has fought so many better guys. Literally beating Charles Oliveira alone was more impressive than beating Conor, Dustin, and Justin Gaethje, because Charles already beat some of those guys. And you know what? No, I take it back. It is Khabib's fault, because welterweight was stacked to the gills with wrestlers. He could have fought Gilbert Burns. He could have fought Colby Covington. He could have fought Kamaru Usman if he went up a weight class. But no. He prefers fighting the strikers. I think that's what it is. He preferred getting the easy matchups. Why would he want to do difficult things? Why would he want to prove himself as the best fighter in the world? Oh, you know why? Because idiots like you told him that he was. All you guys like, oh, he's so dominant. No one has ever been this good. He's so amazing. No, you got it into his head that he didn't need to do any more. He 100% did. He didn't fight anybody. His protege's done 10 times more than he has. But okay, let's just move away from the records. Let's just look at them as fighters. Khabib, he has good striking. He does have good striking. If he didn't have good striking, he would not have been as dominant. His striking was good enough that he could back guys up. He could make guys worry about it. People had to move. They couldn't just stand right in front of him. But his striking does not compare to Islam. Islam is a literal sniper with his left hand. It is crazy how good of a striker he is. The way he kept catching Volkanovski every time at the very end of the exchange. Super high level. Against Charles Oliveira, that was the real difference maker. Was that Charles Oliveira, you saw it in the fight. He froze up before the finish. He realized, like, okay, this guy's tough on the ground. It's not easy on the ground. And he is a way better striker than me. Like, I am getting lit up every time I'm in range. He knew that he was in trouble. Khabib's striking was effective because of the threat of the takedown. When he dropped Conor, it was because he feinted the takedown, Conor went to sprawl, he came over the top with the right hand. Great technique, super effective, very high level. But there's a difference between that and showing pure kickboxing skills, and that is what Islam shows. He shows that he doesn't need to be feinting takedowns to open up striking. He can literally just strike with you. Before the Volkanovski fight, everyone was saying, if Volk can keep this on the feet, he is going to win. And what we saw was that Volk surprised everyone in the wrestling, and Islam surprised everybody in the striking. Islam was right there with him in the striking. In fact, he was the cleaner striker. What do you think? That Khabib's just going to go pedal to the metal against Volkanovski like he did against Justin Gaethje? It doesn't work like that. Volk could have done another 5 rounds after that Islam fight. That style doesn't work against guys who are that high level. It works against Justin Gaethje, and I know it makes you look really good when you can do that. But with someone with the gas tank of Volkanovski, you can't just do that. You have to fight a smarter, more planned out fight. And Islam showed he is so well-rounded. He is an amazing grappler. He is an amazing striker. He can do it all. He has fought high-level grapplers. He has fought high-level strikers. He has fought guys with very, very good gas tanks. He has fought guys who are insanely well-rounded. Khabib hasn't, and that's just the end of it. No question.